The NBA is shifting in a way I don't think a lot of people realize. And what I mean by that is the death of the one-way player is happening right before our very eyes. Now, what I mean by that is think back to 2022. Think back to the Golden State Warriors. Think back to Gary Payton II and his impact he had on that Warriors team defensively. Defensive beast. Now, look to 2025 and look at this Minnesota Timberwolves versus Golden State Warriors Western Conference semifinals matchup with no Stephen Curry. Gary Payton II is okay on defense. He's solid. He's had a few injuries, so he's a little slower now. But what does he do on offense? What does he do on offense when Steph Curry's not there to give him the looks? Because the thing people forget about Stephen Curry is, in this point guard debate, his gravity is essentially an assist. If 3 defenders are on Stephen Curry and you get an open shot because of him, that is basically an assist in my opinion. I digress. What I'm saying is, Gary Payton does not really create without the gravity of Stephen Curry or the worry of a Buddy Hield or other shooters out there making shots already. What I mean by a one-way player is a player that can't create on his or her own. Look at Aaron Gordon. He was a defensive guy. He was a post guy majority of his time on the Denver Nuggets. But now he has a bag. Now he's expanded upon his skill set. He's gotten better at the game, and he's shown that he is a two-way player. The baseline for role players now is going to have to be two-way players. This is not a league anymore where you can afford guys to be one-way machines. Look at Jalen Green even. Elite scorer, and I put that in heavy quotes. Elite scorer. What does he do on defense? You even got Buddy Hield becoming a two-way player who's a 3-and-D type of guy who can get in those passing lanes and get crafty. When you're a one-way player like a Gary Payton II, it's harder for you to play championship winning defense on these teams. I'm not saying that defensive masterminds aren't still integral to the game, but look at Drew Holiday. He has an offensive bag. It's not on the level of his defense, but he has an offensive bag. He knows how to handle the ball. He knows how to have middies, floaters, three-point shots. Same thing with Derek White. Derek White became a spot-up shooter on the Boston Celtics. These are guys who were initially one-way players, and now they are adding more folds and integral pieces to their games. Now here's a name for you, Luka Doncic. And I know this conversation about Luka and his defense and his weight and everything, it's overblown, it's overrated. Guy has a career defensive rating of 112, which basically means how many points you allow per 100 possessions as a defender. Jaren Jackson Jr., who was defensive player of the year not even 3 years ago, he has a defensive rating of 110.5. But what I mean by bringing up Luka is that if you look at that Wolves series, even if you look at Austin Reeves, that was free eats. You had Jaden McDaniels looking like Quincy Acey in the paint, because not only did you not have a big, now you have no perimeter guys that can stop. You look at a guy like Stephen Curry, he's only gotten better as a defender the more his career went on. Because what was Steph Curry's biggest weakness? His lack of defense. Game 6 in that Cleveland Cavaliers series where they blew a 3-1 lead, Kyrie was hunting Steph. Everybody knows it. Clay knew it. Draymond knew it. Everybody knew. Steph got injured. MCL is cooked. That's free eats. In the NBA, where guys are getting more athletic, where guys are getting bigger and stronger, there's no more room for a one-way player. Jaden McDaniels is another good example of this. Randomly took an offensive leap this year to the point where he was dropping 30-point bombs on the Los Angeles Lakers. There is no more room for a one-way player. OG Anunoby is a great example of this as well. Scotty Barnes, most of that 2019 Raptors team, they got bags now. It's not the deepest bag ever, but they got bags now. They know how to defend and they know how to score. And when you're a guy in Gary Payton II, where you're already undersized, you got crazy athleticism, but you don't have a bag to utilize that athleticism. You're a one-way player. And because of that, one-way players are not going to be as integral to teams winning championships. Before, you could get away with it. You could have a one-way player just come in, lock in defense, Tony Allen, make things hard. You know who else was a defender who made things hard? Sometimes Patrick Beverley. Is he in the league anymore? I don't think so. He was playing in Israel. I don't even know if he's playing in Israel no more. He said if he heard a bomb go off, he gone. He heard a few. Jared Vanderbilt is a great example of this. Defensive mastermind, allegedly. Vando's Vault, allegedly. The Vandalorian, allegedly. What does he do? What does he do outside of defend? Again, one-way players are not integral to this league anymore, offensively or defensively. If you don't have a little bit of sauce in both facets of basketball, what are you doing? Now, as an offensive player, you have a little bit more liberty because you got a guy like Cam Thomas who's score, but he's also a great facilitator. He also can get in those passing lanes. Same thing with Tyrese Haliburton. His defense got better. He's great at passing lanes. Dyson Daniels is a great defender. Evan Mobley is a great defender, but they also know how to score on offense. You can't be a one-way player anymore. It forced Rudy Gobert to actually be confident scoring in the paint. They made Rudy get shifty, bro. You can't be a one-way player in the NBA anymore. Probably not the WNBA either. I just have to watch more footage and highlights from those games. But in the NBA, if you are a one-way player, I got bad news for you. you're not going to be that relevant in the league going forward. And look, I'm not saying that you can't be a specialist at something in the National Basketball Association, but the issue is if your specialty is defense or even offense, and then on the other end, you have nothing. You have to be, yes, a Luka Doncic, where you are an offensive genius and facilitating genius to the point where, yeah, he doesn't play defense. It's fine. It's Luka. We know he's going to do that. You have to be a Nikola Jokic. If you're not a generational talent, or at least an all-star caliber player, they're not going to care if you're a one-way specialist. You have to be good at both. And if you're not good at both, like I said, I got bad news for you. You're not going to be in the NBA much longer as a sought-out piece for integral basketball. I'm not saying you're not an NBA level player or WNBA level player, but if you can't do it on both ends, you're not going to make it to the end and get that championship. With that being said, though, guys, that is going to do it for us today. An interesting topic I was thinking about, because again, watching these playoffs, these one-way players, Lakers showed it, Warriors showed it now with Steph being out. These one-way players, it's hard, and I get it being a Golden State Warrior. You don't have a incentive to get a bag. But why is Pat Spencer out dribbling Brandon Pajemski and Gary Payton Jr. II? You can still build your bag up for when Steph goes out, because Steph is 37. He's not going to be on this team forever. You got to want it, man. And you got to want to be a two-way player to survive in today's NBA. We're getting aliens like Wemby. We're getting positionless basketball in the next 10 to 15 years. You got to still stand out in this league. But again, as always, if you enjoyed the content, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we will see you all in the next one.